I think society does a really good job of making moms feel like we have to be beaten down in order to be good moms. And if you are not beaten down, if you are choosing yourself, if you are still living your best life, then there's something wrong with that. Hey, hey, good morning. My name is Dawn. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and to my podcast. I am hella congested right now. I have my tissues over here and I've got my warm beverage. But I wanted to just push through the congestion and come to you all with a message because this has been a little heavy on my heart for the past few days. And I wanted to bring this message to my stay at home moms. Uh, you know, being a stay at home mom is something that is a very interesting dynamic, right? I have been a stay at home mom for 6 years. And prior to that, I would have considered myself a workhorse. I've essentially been in the work field since I was old enough to work. So I got my working papers at 15 and I've been working ever since, right? Various retail jobs. I got my first office job when I was 19, 20, and I've been working full time ever since. And so I wanted to bring this message to you all because I was at a networking event on Thursday and I met a woman and we were talking and the topic of occupation came up, right? And so she said that she was a stay-at-home mom, and the way that she said it, I could tell that the like her confidence level was down, that she just wasn't in a position to where she felt like she could proudly say that she was a stay-at-home mom, right? And I know that I can relate to that as well because when you tell people that you're a stay at home mom, there is kind of a negative association with that, right? I think that sometimes you tell people that you're a stay at home mom and people think that you're just at home kicking back and watching TV or whatever. Um, but there's so much more that is associated with being a stay-at-home mom, right? And so the lady and I, we were talking, and then another woman came up and she handed us her business card, and we were talking, and she was like, "Oh, so what do y'all do?" And so I told her what I did, and then the other woman said what she did, and again, she says she was a stay-at-home mom, but like her posture changed. She was looking away. And so, I kind of hopped in for her and was just like, yeah, she is a lawyer. She is a chef. She is a an admin. She maintains a household. She does so many things. And I think that, we don't realize as stay-at-home moms just how important our jobs are. We are raising up people to go into the world and hopefully make the world a better place, right? That's something in and of itself, right? We are chefs, we are schedulers and taskmasters and chauffeurs and, so many other things, psychologists and psychiatrists, and we're nurses, and, we just have so many different hats that we wear on a day-to-day basis. And so I wanted to share a little bit about my story, my journey, and how I've come to a place to where, um, yeah, I see being a stay-at-home mom for the beauty that it is and the work that it is, So just to share, I became a stay-at-home mom when I had my son. He's 6 years old now, and I've had three other children after him. So I have a 6-year-old boy, I have a 4-year-old boy, and then I have a 3-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old son. So a set of twins is in there. But prior to that, I was working as a financial professional for a company. I'd studied and got my Series 6 and my Series 63, and I graduated from college, finished up my degree, and because that was a thorn in my side, not having my degree. So I went and did that just for the sole purpose of boosting my confidence. Definitely not, I don't recommend spending money just to boost your confidence in that way, but that's what I needed for me. So that's what I did. And they're hitting me up for my loan repayments now. But anyway, I digress. um, but yeah, and then I had my son, and my husband and we had talked and agreed that I would stay at home. And, I was cool with that. And when I had him, my son, my oldest son, it was a struggle, being a person who didn't necessarily have a bunch of children around to take care of or to, nurture in that way. It was definitely a learning curve for me. But, I took it one day at a time. I had my community, and, I was able to tap into them for support, right? Then, a few years later, like a year and a half later, I had my son, my second son, and I was at home with the two of them. And, it was at that point where it became difficult for me to like really maintain the household, to like keep it clean. We had moved into this large house, and, um, it was just really difficult for one person to manage, along with two young children who it seemed like every time I got something clean, something else would be messy, right? So, managing that and changing diapers and feeding and, managing postpartum depression and all of this other stuff. And I can smile now about it because, like, I'm on the other side of it, sort of. But when I was in it, I definitely wasn't smiling, right? And I know that there are so many moms that can relate, right? So then, when I found out that I was pregnant again, and my 3-year-old, my 4-year old at the time was like 8, 9 months or something like that. I was just kind of like, what is this? And then when I found out it was twins, I was like, okay, well, we gonna do what we gonna do. I did not anticipate that my partner, after the twins were born, would like check out. And I suppose he was going through his own form of depression, and he's working that out, but that is a thing to consider. But he was checked out, and so it was just me. And it was then that I knew, like, hey, like I didn't even know in the moment. I was just trying to survive, trying to make sure that I survived, trying to make sure that my children survived, that, like they weren't going to be scarred or anything. Because that's the concern of all of us, right? We want to make sure that our children aren't scarred in the ways in which we were scarred, right? So, taking care of them, trying to take care of myself, and in that, trying to find community because we were, in the midst of lockdown. So trying to find community within that space, it was a little interesting to say the least, right? But now on the other side, coming out, my children are older now, and they're able to manage a little bit better, kind of on their own, as on their own as they can be at 6, 4, and 3. But they are pretty independent for their age, and I had to do that for my own sanity. I had to teach them how to put waffles in the toaster and, like I'll put the syrup on and like now they put their own syrup on, Like I had to teach them these things because these are number one things that they are capable of doing, but number two, like it's four of y'all and it's just one of me, and if I don't pour into me and do something to fill my cup and have time to myself, then I'm going to lose my mind. So, however, I can get those moments to myself, I'm going to try and do that, right? So, that would be my first tip is if you are a stay-at-home mom and you feel like you are overwhelmed, like there, because that was the other thing. I spoke to the woman that I was speaking with. She said that it was like her first time out in like years. Like she doesn't go out. And I asked her how old her children were, and she has four as well. Her children were like between the ages of 21 and 14, something along those lines. And she said that she wasn't going out. This was the first time, because I said, "You look familiar." She was like, "I don't see how I don't go anywhere." And I was just kind of like, "Oh, okay, well, how old are your children?" And then she shared, and I was kind of like, wow, So that's like the first thing. Go out. Your kids are gonna be there. They're always gonna need something. And if you don't take the time for yourself to go out and do the things that you love, or to just like go to like if you have a space in your house that you can go, like even a closet, like there have been times I've gone into the closet or the bathroom just to like eat my little snack in peace without having children asking me for my snack. Like it's okay. It's okay to hide away. Like they're gonna be fine. Take time for yourself. Go out. If you have friends, go hang out with them. If you don't have friends, go somewhere and meet some people that like you can link up with. Facebook has a plethora of groups that you could join as a stay-at-home mom in your area, that maybe you can link up with some lady friends and or some guy friends if you're a stay-at-home dad, and have that type of outlet, that type of release. Do play dates, link up with other people, let your kids play, and you talk to your people, or maybe you don't talk to your friends, like it's totally fine. So I think that that's like the first thing that you should do is just go out, even if just for a moment, even if just for a cup of coffee or some type of dessert, or whatever appeals to you. Go out. The second thing that I would say is find something to do that you love, that fills you at your core, right? So, whatever the thing is that you like to do, that you feel like there's excitement around, that gives you a boost of energy, that you love talking about, that you think about or maybe even obsess about. Like my thing is roller skating, right? I will be thinking about roller skating in my sleep. Like right before I go to sleep, in my sleep, I'll have dreams about whatever new movement I'm trying to unlock. Roller skating literally saved my life, or was one of the things to save my life, right? So that's what I do. I'll go out, I'll go to a tennis court or whatever, wherever, the rink, and I'll skate. And yeah, it's cool to talk to people. It's cool to, say hey and kiki. Like I love it. I love seeing people that I know that are, we're trying to do similar things, right? But for me, it's the act of skating because it just does so much for me, for my mental, for my body. Like I can listen to music that I enjoy. I can move my body, which also releases endorphins. I can, learn new things, which exercises your brain and, stretches you as a person. I can look back and see where I started to where I am now and be really proud of myself, So it's an ego booster. It's a mood booster for me. It's a bodybuilder. It's a strengthener. All of that wrapped up into one activity. And so I kill a lot of birds with one stone with just that one activity. So if there's something that you like, if you're a creative, go create something, get you a canvas from Michael's. Michael's always has a sale. Go get you a canvas, go get you some paints, paint something, if metalworking is your thing, or, even if it's not, even if you don't know, maybe, you might see something that piques your interest. Go do it. I know the probably the biggest thing as a stay-at-home mom is, well, my partner doesn't allow me to go out like that, or I don't want to say allow, but I think that that's the thought process that a lot of us have. It's like when they come home and we're ready to go out, like, here, take these kids, it's like, is he going to be okay with me going out, or are they going to be okay with me going out? It doesn't matter. Just if they have the availability, if they are there, like, one thing that I will say that I fell victim to in the beginning is, well, if I go out, it's not going to get done the way that I like for it to get done. And I had to ask myself, well, is that the end of the world? What's more important? You like the food getting prepared the way that you want it to be prepared, or you going out and doing something that's going to fill your cup so that you can come back into the house and not be snapping on people. And I think that the second thing is more important. At least for me, it was. I would much rather delegate and let him take care of dinner or whatever than for me to be in the house micromanaging and stressed out and snapping on everybody. They say happy wife, happy life. Um, yeah, there's some merit to that. So be okay with letting him do some things, and that will help to foster that bond between him and the kids, or they and the kids. Like, it's easier said than done, but it takes practice, and once you do it often enough, you'll feel better about just being like, hey, yeah, I'm out. And then it also develops trust between you and your partner too. Like, you come back and you see like everything is okay, the kids are fine, and you sort of loosen up a bit, So be okay with delegating and letting them do what they need to do as a parent so that you can go out and live your life. Because when those kids grow up, when they leave the house and they go away for college or wherever, or they move out and you have the empty nest, the thing is, if you don't tend to yourself now in these early stages, if you don't figure out what the things are that you enjoy doing that make you you at your core, then what happens is, and it's true, the kids leave, and then you don't know what to do with yourself because you don't know who you are, because you have pushed yourself so far down, you've buried yourself to the point where you don't even know who you are anymore. And that's not what I wanted for myself. That's not what I want for myself, because I'm still in the journey. I still have young kids, they're still here at home. But I want to be proactive in this. And I want to, like, I don't know if I can really adequately express the turmoil that I have gone through in these past 6 years of being a parent. It has not been easy. It has not been fun. Some people are like, oh, I love being a parent. This is the best thing on earth. I am not one of those people. However, I will do my best to care for my children, to raise them to be decent human beings, to be more than decent human beings, um, because I love them and because they are here and they did not choose to be here. But at the same time, I cannot sacrifice my mental health my social life, my spirit, who I am at my core for the kids. I can't. And it took a minute for me to get here, but I realize like it's okay. I see a better mom in the midst of me choosing to put me first. You know, my kids, they're not neglected. Yeah, do I wish that there were two of me? Absolutely. I wish that there were more of me, but there's just one. And so I have to take care of me first before I can even think about pouring into them the way that I want. And it gets easier over time because I know it's difficult to choose yourself over your kids because I think society does a really good job of making moms feel like we have to be beaten down in order to be good moms. And if you are not beaten down, if you are choosing yourself, if you are still living your best life, then there's something wrong with that. And it's not. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You have to have your cup full. Like the what's the phrase, the saying? You can't pour from an empty cup, right? And that is so true. How many of our cups are empty on a day-to-day basis? How often do we as moms really take the time for ourselves for self-care, to take a day away regularly? You know, like we can do it. We can do it. Now, obviously, not everybody's circumstances allow for that. However, if you are in a household where you have a spouse or any kind of help, anybody living with you that helps you, then yeah, take some time for yourself. Learn about who you are. Learn what you bring to the table. Talk nice to yourself. Every time you make a meal for your kids, call yourself the chef. Every time you are putting a band-aid on a boo-boo, call yourself a nurse. Every time you are breaking up fights between children, call yourself a mediator. We don't get a fraction of the credit that we should get for the service that we are doing. Yes, these are our kids, but there are people out here who have kids who don't care. We care. And because of it, we are putting ourselves fully out there to our detriment. So talk nice to yourself because you deserve it. You deserve it. So, what? Get out the house. Make some friends. Two, find something that you enjoy doing and do it. Something that fills your tank, that you love. Figure it out. Take the time. Three, delegate in order to do it. It's okay to release control. The kids will be okay. They'll be fine. And four, talk nice to yourself. We deserve it. We do a lot. You're more than just a stay at home mom. Trust and believe that nobody can do your job with your kids as well as you do it. So give yourself some credit, mama. All right, I am done talking with my congestion. So I hope that this was helpful for you. I will talk with you all soon. Bye.